Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on a program called Fiume. It's designed to help you think about money in the medium to long term. And lately we've been working on a refactoring, trying to get rid of sign calculations. You have income or expenses or assets or liabilities, and I think it'll be better for us if we just keep track of them as the pure amount and not try and put the -1 in the representation. All right, we left off saying, hey, our expenses are not reloading properly, and decided the reason is that we weren't making things codable. So let's go back to Leia. And we tried adding, we had added a new field, leiaType, but because its type is not codable, we can't make it codable. So let's fix that. All right, and now we can add that. Type, make sure I spell it the same as the field, okay. And I don't think that can affect tests, but we should run them anyway. Give us a baseline. All right, and where we saw this was we have existing streams and money sources lined up, but we do a transformation on read to our new type that has the leiaType in it, but we didn't actually save them that way. So let's see if that. Hello, there we go. They should still be there. Okay. Right. So this one is really supposed to be -500. It's supposed to be an expense. Okay. So if I update that, it should change the graph. Okay. Now if I run, well, if I rerun, so that should be saved now with the leiaType in it and should come back as an expense. Let's make sure that is true. Oh, it's not. Okay, yeah, it came out like that. Okay, why? Why? Income to expense, and I did update, right? Let's read it again. Oh, something's weird. Okay. Here it thinks it's okay. So something about our initialization, maybe? Well, okay, let's, I guess, edit stream view. Okay, so we've taken this part out. Okay, so self dot is income. Okay, that's actually not right anymore. It used to be, we said if it was a positive amount, it was an income, and if it was a negative amount, it's an expense. But we really want to make sure the type is right. So what's the stream dot type equals dot income. Okay. Now, I don't know if initializing those will cause a problem. We saw something odd around trying to initialize. Okay, so let's edit this again. He still hasn't saved correctly. Okay, let's make it an expense. Good. Update. Good. That looks okay. Now what if we edit? Good. Okay, and let's rerun it. Oh, okay. All right. Let's look at the file. I mean, I'm sure we'll see it's got the wrong type on it, otherwise it wouldn't load that way. Go to that folder, jq.plans.json. Okay, it was job 2. Its stream leiaType is expense. So it is getting saved with the right type. Oh. And it's getting saved with an amount of 500. Have I specified this backwards? It's an income if it's income. I'm open to suggestions. Well, I don't know how the colored things work, but this is okay. He definitely thinks he's an income. Update, reload him, skip. Well, I guess the other one, yeah, let's check where it gets decoded. Well, let's find that use of non-negative, because maybe we haven't done the stream pool, the pools, the assets and liabilities. Where's that function? Non-negative. Okay, who's calling this? They kind of shouldn't be anymore in most cases. We'll have to do some when we're calculating things. Well, that calculation's kind of okay. True enough. Okay, here's it at pool view. Let's make the same change. Pool equals dot asset. Pool dot leiaType. Oh, I probably should say pool dot type. Okay. Pool view. If pool is non-negative asset. Okay. Same here. And where's stream view? Well, I got rid of one. Okay, we got rid of that. Income stream.type. I don't think this is quite the best way to do this, but he does map income to up and expense to down. All right, that's mapped correctly. Well, how are we on previews today? Some days they just pop right up, other days they're just slow as molasses. Well, the pool view and stream view, this is the result of those. So it's looking at that thing, it thinks it looks correct. And when I edit, it thinks it's correct. Let's change the amount. Can't tell what's going on. Or if my keyboard's losing its charge. Okay, what are you doing? Is there some old key that takes precedence? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on here, though, either. It's like I've jammed up. Maybe this is screwing it up. Let me rerun after connecting. Oops. Why are you... Oh, here we go. Okay. I don't know, would it be a key on Leia? Oh, building for previews still. Yikes. Oh, there it goes. Oh, and it came up right. Okay. Let's edit this. Okay, that looks like it's alive now. What? That's weird. can't think there's anything that we would have done that affected this. I don't know what this is doing. Keyboard settings. No, that's not helpful. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is restarting this again. Saying keyboard language, connect hardware keyboard. I think that's what I want. Why are you so slow? Okay, I'll turn that into an expense. It does not want my keyboard. Okay, the graph is right. Let's opening it again is okay. All right, so now I should, well, let's see what. Let's go where this thing is. Okay, here's Leia. Job 2. It's an expense. It's got an amount. 501. Okay, so that is saved. Yes, you're right. Let's do a clean build. Okay, we can tell it's wrong just looking at it. All right. Well, okay, so this is, if it looks right on the disk, right? So that says we're not computing it right on our read. I guess you already kind of hinted at that. Let's look at our app. Okay, we do plans.load. Let's go there because we were there yesterday. Okay, so basically we read it in, assign it, and then update it in place. Well, there's an is non-negative. Okay, yeah, so I think what we've done is we've, instead of looking at the leiaType and deciding if it was there, we looked at is non-negative, which is our fallback. Okay, so it's really this. The plans. Okay, so marked unchanged when loading. Keeps empty group. Children of scenarios. Changes when stream is appended. Okay, so here's our types. All right, so I think I'm going to need something like this, but I got to make a Leia that's valid. Okay. All right. All right, so we're going to have to make one, and I think we're going to have to just be explicit like this. Okay, Leia, let's give money. Let's do 500, but let's make it an expense. Okay, and then plan is plan.make. Okay, so we're going to all right, we'll create an initial plans and we'll append plan. Okay, so we have my finances, the top level node that exists already. We're appending this Leia object with an expense, and we want to make sure that it, okay, then we load it, and the new type should be expense. Okay. And I don't think the test will catch this. Oh, I think this test should, but the others won't. I mean, we know the others don't. I think it's the income state that was set to true per default. Well, I should change that name. Good. Okay. All right, so here's the plans. Where's plans? Okay, so this case is a stream. New type is, well, if it's getting complicated. Okay, let's make a helper. Yeah, but it's a non-negative. I mean, we still need to do it if in the default case. All right, so I want this to be leiaType for Leia. And this goes to leiaType. Okay, so I guess if Leia.type is not unspecified, then return Leia.type. Otherwise, return the existing formula. Okay, so if we've got a type, we know it's income or expense, or the other kind too, then we'll use it. If we don't have a type, and I don't think this will blow up if leiaType is nil, because it just won't be unspecified. We'll see. Okay, but I think this will pass the test. And because we treat pools and streams separately, I'm going to have to test both sides of that. Now, these other ones all tested when it was nil, so that's okay. But maybe I can do parameterized again. Okay, so this takes a type and expected is a pair of leiaType and a leiaType. Okay, so this is, yeah. Okay, so that's the type and the expected. Let's break that out. Original type is type expected dot zero. Expected type is type expected dot one. Okay, and this becomes original type. So our first case is dot expense. Well, we really don't need the pair, do we? It's type is just leiaType. And then when we read it back in, it should also be type. Okay. If I could spell. Yeah. I think I just need to do the first one. Okay. Right. And this is already typed. Okay, I expect this to pass for the first two and fail for the second two now. Fine. Okay, that's unfortunate. Why do you work? Am I doing each one? Oh, he's not always a stream. Ugh. Okay. All right, I think this is going to be two tests. Yeah, so this line here, it always makes a stream even though we said it was an asset or liability. I think this is somewhat artificial at this point. We're making these things more alike. Yeah, I had to put a tuple before. So I'm gonna take this out. Well, okay, maybe I'll do it with this for stream. Uses stream leiaType if present when loading. Okay, this type becomes expense, and this type becomes expense. And I think yeah, this duplication I don't like, but I think at some point we're going to be able to make pool and stream depend on the Leia, not the pool type. And I think that will simplify that too. So I think one of these tests can go away eventually once there's no distinction here. All right, now I expect a failure. Only on the pool one. Good. I hope. Pool. Yeah. Okay. So now we need to make this one do the same thing as this one. Well, oh man, it's not really the same. Well, income expense. Okay, income expense, and this one is asset liability. Okay. Okay. I'm not quite sure I can fold these as easily as I'd hoped because it's plan that knows the type now. I think until we get them converted, two failures. What have I messed up? Oh. Expense, expected liability, or asset. Hmm. 23 is positive, negative. So that's over here. Oh, thank you. Not much point passing them otherwise. Okay. So we make Leia use its established Leia type if it exists, else determine from plan and sign. Okay. Now I think that's, well, I thought it was going to work before. I don't know. Maybe it's not helpful to have these opinions. They're hopes. I hope that takes care of it. I think we have to use non-negative still in this case because this is really, if we get down here, we're in old school. So we've got the original format where the Leia doesn't know its type at all. And we've got to look at the sign to decide. And we've got to look at the type here to decide. So I think, I mean, what I would like to do is change this to be just Leia, and because the only difference is this part, but we have to pass that in because we don't know whether it's going to use the leiaType or the hard-coded one from here. But if we knew that all the Leias had a type, we wouldn't have to do the conversion anymore, and then we can do that. So I think I'm setting up some changes for next week. After my brother and I, the two clients at this point, we both need to run, update, and be ready for the change. Next week, if we've updated, I don't have to do this transformation anymore. They just are what they are. And then I can, well, I guess it won't matter here that I distinguish pool and stream. I can look at other places and see if I can get rid of that distinction and replace them probably with just Leia. All right, so let me add that. Once updated, once all customers have updated, remove the input transformation. Okay. Let's run it. It's interesting to me how we're seeing the different places, though. At first, it was an error in editing. Okay, that's promising. Yeah. Okay, let's turn him into an income. Update. Now he's that. Let's rerun. He should have saved to disk. Okay. He's still an update. Now let's change him back. He's an expense. Update. Editing should be fine. Yep. All right, save it and rerun it. Should be fine. Should be negative again. Okay. Good and good. All right. Whew. Okay. That's kind of where I wanted to be by the end of yesterday. All right. Now we're back to these signs, and I think we're close to being able to get rid of them. Let's keep edit stream view. I don't think we need scenario edit pool view. Okay. All right. So now we're judging based on this. Okay. Now, I think this should be a valid complaint again. That's why I haven't been deleting it. So something's... All right, we did something interesting in I think it's in the net worth calculations. Okay. Yeah, this. The amount, we say if you're a positive type thing, then we take the absolute value of the amount. If you're a negative, we take the negative absolute value. And if you're unspecified, but I think that's going to go away next week because nobody should be able to get an unspecified anymore. Let's see who's using unspecified now just to make sure we're kind of reasonable. I don't know what that means. Okay, we define it. We default it if it's nil, and then we check it. And this. Okay, yeah. So I think that unspecified will go away. That's good. All right. Now the amount, the amount you get is determined. The sign is determined by this. Now, right now you can put negative numbers in, I think. All right. Why is this keyboard thing just goofy? Okay, there. Minus 503. Oh. Edit stream. How are you catching that? Where are you catching that? Account may not be negative. Where? Account or amount? Amount. That's a text. Amount view. Okay, so he's checking it. Oh, I guess we moved this over rather than keep it there. Okay, so let's take this out. Okay, so we put it into the amount validation instead of the thing. All right. That shouldn't affect anything. Deleted code. So maybe we should be enforcing that in our loader routine, our input transformation. All right. All right. So Leia. plans, and plants. Okay, so we take the amount they have. Is it possible to press update with a negative number? Oh, that's a good question. Let's run it. It is. Okay, let's I'm thinking two things at once. Okay, so one is transform amount to positive value on input. The other is enforce positive value in edit view. Okay, so let's do the transform first. All right, so let's make a test for it. Amount is so complicated. Okay, let's give it a negative amount on the way in. Makes amount positive when loading. Okay, so he's an expense coming in. We make initial plans, add him, check him, do this, expect the type. Well, what I really expect is new Leia dot I want the amount. Can't look at this amount. Well, I guess I could check it's non-negative. Okay, let's do that. New Leia dot amount dot is non-negative. Okay, this will fail. I hope. Okay. Minus 500, good. All right, so now the plans. Well, forced non-negative is probably more accurate. Okay, so let's just return amount for now. I'm being a little sloppy to put them both in, but again, I think this is going away, and I think it's okay. All right, that should fail the same way. And then we'll get more sophisticated. All right, you should be failing here. Good. All right. Now I'm just going to switch on amount. Possible add a third case with pool stream that does the new Leia lines. I don't know how that would work. I'd want two things to fall through it. I guess it'd be possible to write a routine. Yeah, let's make it work, and then we'll extract a method for this common thing. That'll be a little easier to justify, maybe. All right, so amount could be, was it relative? Yeah. It's either money with let dollars, or it's relative. If it's relative, we just return it. If it's money, we're going to return money so just take dollars. Oh, money, okay. Let's take absolute value of money. Okay, I think this should pass. Okay. Okay, now let's extract that. Okay, so this. And do they just replace? Is there anything else different other than this? Find out leiaType with two different values. No, I don't think so. So we'll pass plan.leia. Okay. And then positive and negative again. And this one's void. Okay, it's going to look like this. No, I guess we need plan instead of Leia. Okay, so we're going to call replace Leia for plan with asset and liability. Okay, now this one, Leia equals plan.Leia, new type equals with income and expense, okay. Oops. Yeah, well, the long run's a week, but I think it should have been done this way in the first place, really. They were always very similar. Okay, good. Make well, I guess we already did the amount, so this is refactor extract common method to replace Leia. Okay, so transform amount to positive value on input. I believe we've done that now. All right, enforce positive value. So before we checked it, well, maybe I should just bring that code back. The edit stream view knows. Title string button. Well, does he? It's really the amount spec. Let's do a not. And I'll do the parallel change, indicating this duplication here. He also works on amount spec. Okay. Honestly, I think we changed the name. Let's call this amount. Oh no. Oh, there's a bunch of places. Oh, this may go away. Okay. Edit stream view. Let's try again. Still indexing all the time. He spends an awful lot of time indexing. Okay, let's do it the other way. Find, replace. Oh, you didn't take my change? Oops. Oh, we'll take it now? Okay, whatever. I'm trying to run tests. Okay. Now let's run. Still building. There we go. Okay, so now we want to check that if I try and make this negative, come on. Update no longer allows it. Okay, let's cancel that. Let's take an asset, same thing. Minus, an update goes away, and it comes back. Okay. All right. I guess I did the rename in there too. Oh well. So, where's that negative thing? Created amount. Do we use this anymore? We do. Okay, we stopped using it in stream view. Let's see what we did there. Amount is amount. Okay, so created amount, basically it flips the sign if needed, but we don't need that anymore because we never flip the sign on input. And this is just amount. Okay, while we don't allow it, let's double check with a liability. I don't have one. Let's make one. It's a pool. It's a liability. We'll take on a house debt. Let's make sure. Okay. And I can create it Okay, let's make sure negative creates problems. Yep. Okay, that looks good. And let's just delete that. Okay. Yeah. So okay. Now, I feel like somewhere, let's see, Leia. Okay, in principle, I don't need these absolute values anymore, but I think I'll wait till we deal with that next week. So let's remove abs in Leia. Okay. Now there's something else in there. Asset income. Well, a little bit. It's a little bit funny. Is income used anymore? Yeah, that's a good question. All right. I think it is, but let's make sure. And then the other question I have, this is, I don't want the type making this, well, I don't want Leia snooping in on the type. I'd rather have the type make a decision and say, give me the signed value for a given amount, say, or yeah. But yeah, let's deal with is income because that's more relevant here. Okay, is income. I think we use it here. Yeah. Okay. So that's the flag that tells, are you making an income or a income or expense in here. So that controls this value. What I'd like to do is combine these things, but I think that refactoring should wait till we get everything. But I'm going to take out edit pool. I'm going to have one window. Okay, I guess the create is the one to show it. Pool and stream are separate now. I'd rather have this drop down become something that walks through the types, leiaTypes, and remove the unspecified, and then just have the 4 types there. And they all function the same from this perspective. Yeah, can the check be done with the type enums? It will in the long run. Because I have them separate now, it's not, they're not unified enough to really do it. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could restrict them to my own set of things or something like that, but my intent really is to fold pool and stream into like money source, and in money source you choose which of the 4 cases it is. I think that will be an improvement. It brings, there's not that much difference in them. And I might put a slightly more descriptive, like asset parentheses, fixed amount or something. I don't know what to say, pool in my language here. And then income is a stream. I think that would be helpful and maybe enough. I think, yeah, I think people will have enough familiarity. I mean, people, I really am not going to make this more publicly available. It's just for, a handful of people to try out. I mean, anybody can try it. I think it's public, but it's not a supported thing. Okay. So is income used? Yes. But let's deal with that Leia. So yeah, I want to pull this into a function. And does amount value at make sense with unspecified? I think so. Well, I don't think anybody can create an unspecified now, so I'm not too worried. We'll get rid of unspecified next week too. Did I say that? Yeah. Let's make this kind of indented. Okay. leiaType. All right, so this is a function, public function, signed, given a number. A money. Right? Yeah. Okay, and this thing returns money. And it's really this code. Okay, and now we're returning how do I say this? Type. Okay, if it includes the right stuff, return. If it doesn't include the right dates, return 0. Otherwise, ask the type to compute the signed value. Can that check be done with the type enums? Are you talking about what we just did? I may have missed your comment before I did it. But yeah, so now we're saying a leiaType, if you give it some money, it'll give you the proper signed value. Okay, assuming the test pass. I think my simulator still has the keyboard. Wonder why this one's purple. Okay. All right. Where's my to-do? Enforce positive value in edit view. We did that. Did I already say that? No. Okay. Check signs when editing. We did that. Okay. Should relative be on Leia? That's a good question. I guess I'm going to put this here for a minute. Okay. Plans. Okay. All right. Okay, so I think we're, maybe. All right. I think we've done what we can for now on making Leia know its type. I don't think we've necessarily done what we have to on where should relative live. We also have not dealt with streams, relative values, and how they depend on other relative values. Make date and scenario required for value computation. Don't know what that means. Stream name, yeah, that's for relative amounts. Amount be overridable. I think I might be removing that capability. I think it's more confusing than helpful. And that would remove the overrides on dates as well. But I don't know this relative thing. Okay, so the way we are now, let's get amount up here. Amounts are defined to either be a simple amount of money or a relative amount of money. And if it's a relative money, you're going to say the double is the percentage and the string is the name of the money. I don't know the right word. Flow, amount, count. It's either a stream or a pool name. Now, what I find funny about this, well, let's bring this up again. Okay, so if of this one, see, he's saying he's an asset, but he's a relative income 50% of job too. Well, that doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, if you're getting a percentage of a stream, you got a stream. So that says that the relative is maybe not here at all. Now, what that kind of says to me is that it's a Leia. It maybe should be a top level Leia, and then it's a relative amount. 50% of job 2 is going to be a stream, and 50% of an asset is going to be an asset, and 50% of a liability is a liability, and so on. Because this conflict doesn't mean anything, and you can't really call it an asset. I mean, I can imagine a combination stream, and I've thought about putting this in before, but I don't know if I've discussed it. But some things are a combination. So think of your house, like if you buy a house, you're taking on you have an asset that's the house itself. You're taking on a liability that's the mortgage, and then you're you're going to put in a payment stream that's you paying back the mortgage. And so all three of those kind of bundled together represent the true asset that's your house. If you, let's say you put a mortgage on it, well, this happened to multiple friends of mine during the housing crisis in the 2000 whatevers. We lived in the Michigan area, and house prices, particularly in Detroit, but also in much of the rest of the area, Ann Arbor, where we were, well, kind of Ann Arbor area we were, people woke up one day and their house was worth 50% less than it had been the day before, or maybe the month before. But, you know, they had what was formerly a $200,000 house that if you sold it today, you would get $100,000. And actually they had houses for less than $10,000 that, you know, now I'm sure they're worth a couple $100,000, but people were able to buy them for peanuts, basically. And so I had multiple friends whose mortgage, they bought a mortgage. Maybe they had $150,000 on all those things. And they owed $150,000 on a $200,000 house. The house dropped to $100,000, and all of a sudden it's a $50,000 liability instead of a $50,000 asset. A scenario contained all of those. Well, I think group actually is our one that does that. We don't have any in this one. But you're right. I could just put them together as a bundle of things under this, you know, kind of my house asset. And same thing for a car, you know, or any debt component, any, what do you call it? Secured debt. Secured debt means somebody wants, you know, they have title to it, or they have a lien on it that says they get it if you default, as opposed to unsecured debt like credit cards that just you borrowed $1,000, you owe $1,000, but you know, there's not a particular thing they get. Okay, so maybe I don't need to worry about that if I've got these groups. Maybe a better name. Maybe bundle would be a better name. Okay. I don't know. But this relative thing, it does not seem right to me because of this case. You know, an asset that claims to be 50% of a stream. That's not sensible. I mean, in a sense, it's an asset to somebody, but it's not an asset exactly. It doesn't evaluate like an asset. And it doesn't accumulate like one. Okay, so what I guess I want to explore is, what if I made it part of a Leia instead? Now, what this really tells me, I don't know. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's connected only by the name, and it derives its leiaType from whatever you claim it is, but it should only be a relative to the same type or something. Yeah, so I think because of this, so unfortunately these four are basically the same. They have ID, name, we don't need amount. They've got start and final dates. They've got an amount, and now they have the type. That describes these four perfectly. A relative, it wants a percent, and then it kind of wants to say another Leia, but because of the way we use them, because Leias they're not permanent things. If they're in scenarios, you know, they might be in one scenario but not another, or the same name in two scenarios representing two variants of it. And so they're not stable enough to just point to. Because there is no single one you're referencing. You're referencing the universe of the ones that are like that in whatever scenario you're in. And so I think what that tells me, and I can't do it now because of persistence, I really should make Leia be a enum. And asset, liability, income, expense, I should probably define another object that's this cluster of stuff. And a Leia should, these four cases should include one of those. And then the relative one should include that percent and name. And it could have its own name. And it should have its own name. So it has a name, but it has a double that represents a percent, and it has a name that it's referring to. And I don't have a mechanism to do that here because, well, changing it to an enum would be a persistence change, and it's tricky. We know how to do it because we just did it for plans. And maybe that should be enough. Well, okay, here's the deal. It's 3:30 on Thursday. We got about an hour to go. I'm not going to get it done in an hour. And that means I would have to ship it partially. And instead, this week, I'm going to get my brother to, install the new version, update his data, and leave us ready next week. But maybe that's telling me that next week I should make these Leias turn into an enum, and I can do this by well, if I were to make new types that had the same fields, no, if I could make a new type with my Leia that's an enum, and I could rename these to something else and then call the new enum Leia. But yeah, but I'm going to wait on persistence wise, but I might be able to pull this relative thing out. We can do what we did in plan. Is it plan? Plan's going to change next week too. Yeah, so originally we had subclasses, and the pool and stream subclasses held a Leia, and the group and scenarios classes held children. And so by folding these multiple types in, we sort of set up a situation where the Leia is not really meaningful unless it's a pool or stream, and the children are not meaningful unless it's a scenario or a group. I can do the same thing here. I mean, I could put the percent and the reference, and then only use them in certain cases. But I mean, that's what the enum is for. So maybe it's a bad idea to do it now. Okay. Yeah, that will become, I mean, if I do it, I'm going to put in these extra optional fields, and then I got to make sure they're only referenced by the right thing, which means I probably have to wrap them. And then next week, I'm just going to make an enum and throw that away. So let's not tackle that. What do I want to do in the next hour? Well, stream A depends on stream B. If we did this relative thing, we wouldn't make that possible. A relative would only depend on a pool or stream. Okay. And we would make it an error if it referred to a relative. Is that an error? Well, it can't refer to itself. Yeah, maybe we can make that an error. Never on Friday. Yeah. Well, it's mostly I don't want to mess up. I don't want to put a change halfway in place that means we can't do the persistence. But yeah, there's a little of that maybe. Because I think changing the enum, like the consequence of this is going to be, I have the old leiaType and Leia. I'm going to do the same kind of transformation and turn them all into the new leiaTypes that have the enum. And again, it'll be a persistence change, but I think it'll give us the right flexibility for relative. If I could do something halfway, I would. Okay. I think I'm going to get rid of this. Where is it? Remove entry of the same name. All right. That feels like a good sized project for the last day of the week, virtual. Okay, well, let's take our break. 3 or 4 minutes. We'll come back and simplify the notion of something having the overriding of the names. We'll get rid of that. Welcome back. Okay, so we're going to deal with this. Remove override of entry by the same name. There may be some error reporting we want, and I don't know if we'll do that part today or not. We'll see how the timing goes. Okay, so let's see where this shows up. Okay, it's this update. So if we find out, if we use the same name twice, then we check this, the dates, and use the later dates that we gave. Okay, so it's used here. Okay. And I don't remember how this part works, frankly. Okay, so we have the notions of name to Leia. That's the mapping from a streamer pool name to the Leia object that corresponds to it. Now, map. Okay, so if we add a Leia, okay, this is, if it's not in there, then we just add it. Okay, otherwise we create this overridden thing and add the revised one. All right, so I think what I'm saying is, well, is it an error or you're just getting the latest one? I think I'm saying you just get the latest one. Now, the test here, okay. I think what I'm saying is we're going to overwrite when the second one occurs. Okay. Well, this merge did overwrite, but let's make it. Leia overwrites when a value changes. This is not a test for Leia. Okay, this is a test of update. So I'm going to delete this test. Update is not meaningful here. Well, it's interesting that you only see it here. Let's look at scenario. Okay, makes independent copies. Okay, if they're separate things, that's fine. A scenario built for one stream. Yeah, I would say it computes net income. Actually, I'd probably put it. Okay, this is the one we want to do. Mixed scenario. No, this one's okay. This is really alternate because they're in scenarios. This one's in scenarios. I don't think we have a computation that really checks that. I guess I'm going to say we want a test. Let's get a failing test, I guess, even though we were kind of stripping out functionality. Okay, computes net income for one stream, distinct streams. That's more into what does it mean to calculate the worth of a scenario. And again, I'm going to switch the wording around. Okay. Okay, a scenario, well, replaces duplicate stream names. Okay, so well, what's the scenario do? Maybe this is not a scenario thing. This is more of a group kind of thing. We don't really call out groups too much. Well, maybe that's the sign that I don't treat my groups with enough respect. But group is not, well, it is kind of an object, yeah. Goes in Fiume tests, good. Let's put it up here. Whoops, I chose poorly. I'll just leave it like this for a moment. Let's just get some structure in. Since I've made other changes, mostly names, I think. I don't know if I have this in my paste buffer. Yeah. I'll hide this for a moment. Okay. Whatever I hit, I didn't mean to. Okay, let's take a scenario. Well, we really should put types in here too. Cannot find date specifier. Oh, we gotta do our module import. What I wanted to steal was make Leia. I don't even need that stuff on there, do I? Okay. At least for this test. Okay, I'm gonna give it an amount, give it a name. I don't think I need these dates. What's the matter? Dates for. Okay. Replace the unspecified property. No, that's what we were doing before. What I want to do, well, I think I want to say is if you create a group and you put these in order, and then you ask what the salary is, it's going to come back with 2,000, and there's no question about that. This one is effectively non-active. Now, what I think I should do, yeah, I think that's enough. it gets tricky with scenarios because let's say I had a scenario. Well, let's say I have notice scenario. I just put a salary in, create scenarios, and create one scenario with a salary that overrides that, another scenario that doesn't override it. Should it complain? It probably should complain, but complaining from the scenario perspective is really tricky. I think in terms of just creating it, it should just take it. Now maybe the scenario should complain and where's scenario? Lost it. So I could believe this should be if it's not nil, then there's a problem. And maybe that's the change we're going to have to make in the medium, after we get I want to remove the functionality first and then decide what to do about the error. But I think I'm going to keep this clause and say, hey, if they try and add a Leia that is already there, that's named is already there, then we should complain. That seems legit to complain. But if it's just in a scenario, well, let's just make it override for now. Okay, so there's scenario. Here's a scenario. I guess we want a group. Okay, so a scenario, he has make scenario. Well, that's pretty handy. A group. Let's give him make a group. Oh, scenario. No, that's not what I want. Well, I want make group with Leia's. And then he's going to give me back a Leia, which is a group. Because, no, it's not a group. I'm confused. Okay, he's not giving us back a Leia. He's giving us back a plan, I think. Yeah, plans are the things that have those. Okay. Make group bunch of Leia's. Scenario. Well, let's see. I want this to be let plan equal make group of these things. Okay. And then if I ask for plan, I thought I had a lookup, a find. Oh, this is a plan. I want plans for a lookup. Okay, we can append. Where's find? Well, somebody calls find. Where is that? Ugh. People do find. Scenario does find. Okay, I guess I'm going to add this. I guess I should be working on scenario. Maybe it is the right place. Okay. Well, let's keep this. It retains last Leia with duplicate names. Okay. A group is going away. All right, I guess this will be our set. Make scenario. Streams. Okay, and if I say set.find salary, amount, this amount is just a field, so I got to do the amount at month. Well, let's. I guess it's August. Okay, if I ask for that with people empty, we don't need people to compute this. It should be equal to 2,000. Lost it. There we are. Find salary, look up the amount. It should equal 2,000. Okay. I don't know if this will pass or not. The way it is now, it updates it, so it's gonna update it. So I guess I'm putting in a barrier. So I'm putting in some guardrails then that will retain this behavior if it exists, but I'm going to remove that updates clause. Okay, maybe I can fool it. Let's say, oh, does he accept that? I don't think he takes a date specifier. He takes a month year. Okay, we'll add a guardrail test. How can I make one that doesn't? Let me cancel that. I really would rather have one that failed. Yeah, I can do this. I can make this be 2020 dot December, and then let's make a new make Leia. Yeah, we're gonna make one that has defaults to unspecified, or maybe he explicitly is unspecified. Oh, I have this one. Well, maybe I should use that one. Okay. Okay. So if this is dot unchanged. Okay. I believe the current behavior will be will not find, I think it will return 0 in our current behavior, because you set the date and then you say it's unchanged. It's going to flow through and get that date. But if you just had unchanged with nothing set first, it should take, kind of any dates should pass. Yeah. Okay. That's good. It really is right to get a failing test. A guardrail test is nice, but this will be better. Okay. So scenario is probably the one doing this. Kind of already found it. So I think if I take these lines out, if the map is nil, add it. Well, I'm just gonna add it. And I'm gonna keep this commented. Okay. This should, map of Leia.name equals Leia. Where are these scenario failures? Oh, both in here, good. Okay. Yes, that's a real failure. Okay, good. Scenario for alternate streams with last date unchanged. Yeah, I think this goes away. This is no longer the behavior we want. Okay, let me make sure I understand the queries. If you ask for 2024 January, it should only be October. So October gets some money. The last date shines through to 2024 December. Okay, that is not what we want. We want these three, but we want this one to be 500. Is that what we got? Yes. Does the test pull its weight? I don't know. I kind of don't think it does. Yeah, I don't think this test pulls its weight any better than the one we just wrote. And then this one, 2024 January, gets... Okay, yeah, now it's unlimited. Same thing. This one should be unlimited now, but it was unspecified, not overriding 2024 Feb. So I think, again, it's kind of a redundant test compared to this one. Okay. Yeah, unchanged is now forever. I think that's a fair explanation. And maybe we can change that name. I don't know. Okay. So let's see. Somewhere Leia had update. I don't think that's referenced anymore. I hope. Leia checked some tests. Nobody calls it other than a test. All right. So this test merges when values are omitted. Yeah, we want to get rid of that and that. Okay. And now no one's calling it, so we can get rid of that. Yeah, well, it's your first date or your last date, so it's really it's not really always per se. I've been thinking this is one I think of unspecified as maybe more accurate. It's funny that panes of glass thing to do this is one of the first things we did, and now I'm getting rid of it. All right. I wonder who calls this. I'm distracted. A bunch of things. Okay. All right. So these tests should now pass with that code gone. Yeah, I think if your first and last are unspecified, it really is always. Eventually override. Now, I think we have date range, right? I mean, always would be, that would definitely be a better word than null here. And let's find the view for that. Oh, here we call it unchanged. Unspecified maybe is a better word. Or can he be that? Probably better look unbounded. Yeah, because we do the first and last. Yeah. Oh, a couple long ones. Let's just pretend to make a new one. Choose the start month. Yeah, this wording can be better. I don't know. Unspecified. Unlimited. I'm going to go with unspecified. Where'd that view go? Leave any previous date in effect. Not specified. The English is the tricky part. I want to convey that it's unbounded. Unspecified, unbounded start or end date. Yeah, let's see how it looks. Wow, I just get more and more of these. I think it's happier if I put Leia. Maybe I don't need to say not specified when it's called unspecified. All right. Yeah, I think that'll work. Yeah, I'd like to get that money relative out and just be a simple little amount. I don't really like the default look for these forms. You can't really tell where you're supposed to put it in. I also don't know if I really should allow 0, but that's okay. There might be some case where it makes sense. All right. Well, I think that's all right. Okay. Where aren't you committed? Okay, I had something about amount. Yeah, no longer overwritable. Yes. Still deciding. Date and scenario required for value computation. That's probably worth it. I think given the late time, let's take just a simple refactoring. Make DateRange.includes. Split out less than or equal and greater than conditions. Oh yeah, okay. So what this is saying, these two are sort of independent. I don't think we started doing them. Includes month year. So we're asking if the date range includes it, and what we're going to say is it does if the first, if the month is greater than or equal to the first with people. Okay, so let's see. So this first is a date specifier. So let's go there. Whoops. Okay. Now, unfortunately, we have to pass that people object in to make sense of it because it's used down here. But I think I can say month is greater than or equal to the first is the condition. So if it's unchanged, the answer is always yes. If it's less, it's no. Okay, so and I don't know, am I going to borrow Fortran? Public function GEQ greater or equal. I can't use the operator because I have to have arguments. People, and it's really month year. And I don't suppose I have to really name it. Okay, so I want this to kind of correspond to that. Okay, so this is really self. If our month year is, if it's, are we asking about an unchanged, then the answer is always yes. If we're asking about a particular month, then we want to say month is great. I guess this is really less than or equal to, isn't it? We're asking if a date is less than or equal to a month. If, well, let's return start month less than or equal to month year. I think that would be the same. And then with age, if we don't find the person, it's false. Otherwise, we're going to return effective start less than or equal to month, year. Okay, let's make sure this hangs together. We're going to say first less than or equal to some month. If first is unchanged, yes. If the start month is less than or equal to the month, then yes. Otherwise, we calculate the effective start if it's less than or equal. Okay, I think that's the corresponding logic. All right, so if, and I may want it backwards now. Well, I really want to say return less first less than or equal to month with people, and last is well, okay, I'm gonna write it correctly for now. Okay, I want first to equals, so if it's not first.leq month people, then return false. And I'll eventually put these in one expression. So I believe that is correct so far, and that should pass all the tests. Yeah, so I need a greater than, don't I? But I want the last to be less than or equal to month? No, I want month to be less than or equal to last. So I have to say greater than, yeah. Okay, come on, pass. Good, okay. And now we'll do greater than with this code. Well, greater than is really the same as not less than or equal, right? So this should be not less than or equal to, yeah, not less than or equal to month, year, people. If it's greater than, I don't know. I don't think it's going to work. Okay, if gotta flip these things, and month year is not the same type, annoyingly. All right, so if month year, well, let's say October and October, because the equals case is the tricky one. I want to say if month year, if it's equal, it should pass. So I don't think I can do let greater than. If A is less than or equal to B, then B is greater than or equal to A. Right? Let's put it in the way it is and see what we can get. Okay, so switch self. Month last is greater than or equal to month year. That's fine. Okay. Now, is this one okay? Yes. This is the case if end month is greater than or equal to month. Am I right? Okay, so if end month if month greater than end month, end month greater than or equal to month year. Get the right variable. Okay. And now this one is return effective and greater than or equal to month year. Okay. I think that's right. Okay, so now this is return last dot greater than or equal to month with people. And again, we'll see if we make sure we are passing tests before we let loose. It's too bad those aren't the same types, but a month year just isn't sophisticated enough. We could wrap it. Uh-oh. Let's see where that failure is. A date specifier, I'm guessing. No. Date range, yes. Okay. If Bob is born in 70, we're taking anything from 70 to... Oh, is my calculation wrong? 2010 Jan, he should not be in it, right? Because you're... Have I done this right? 2009 December. I don't think this is right. He's saying he is. If I say Well, if I say it ends when you turn age 1, the starting at age 65 is easy because if you're on your birthday when you turn 65, that's your start age. The end, let's get a decision here. Does that make sense? And you can do this from now until you turn 18. What does the code have now? Let me at least comment this out. Let's make sure what this did before. If month greater than or equal to effective end, return false. Oh, no, that is not how I did it, is it? If the month is greater than the end month, so if it's less than or equal, it's fine. Month less than or equal to end month. But the age, he's got greater than or equal to. I think I've got to take that into account. If month is equal to effective end, we return false. Here, if month is equal to effective end, we return true. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not consistent. This one is correct. I mean, say I don't know, you're going to get an inheritance or you're going to get child support until you turn 18. The first month you turn 18, you no longer get child support. And so this equal, I think this equal is not allowed. I think the test is correct. Greater or equal is confusing as a name, but I think it's correct. Yeah. It's outside the range. Okay. Well, I'm gonna take my win here. We can decide if the semantics are right, but this is the equivalent of first.leiaQ and last dot greater or equal. Okay, first is less than or equal to month, then we can start. Last is greater or equal to month, then we end, with the caveat that GEQ is a little bit funny. Okay, let's make sure. I mean, I think it's expressing the right thing, but I think not LEQ. Yeah, it's a little weird. Because your age starts after the last month. Okay. Let me get the to do. Okay. No. Define. in terms of date specifier. Okay. I think from a, well, it's a little weird. Did it go? I'll have to deal with that. Okay. I think it's natural in terms of what we're saying. Like if I'm going to give somebody a payment till they turn 18, I don't want to include the 18 in there. So, okay, I'll live with it. All right. Well, thanks so much. We got a lot done. I think we'll get the persistence knocked out. Do the let us do the upgrade, and then we can clean that up a bit. All right. Well, have a good weekend. I'll be back Monday, 2 to 4:30 Eastern or 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC. Hopefully my voice is back. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.